Hey, how you doing? This is Craig back from StopDrinkingExpert.com, the website that helps people to escape the loop of problem drinking. And if you are in trouble with your alcohol intake, then the first thing you should be doing is signing up for today's free quit drinking webinar at StopDrinkingExpert.com. So today, I want to talk about drinking to cope with loneliness. Very, very common problem. Firstly, apologies for my scruffy appearance. I'm just looking at myself in the camera here, and I was thinking about my friend Hannah. When Hannah makes a video, she's a YouTuber. She spends about 2 hours getting ready for it. She does the makeup. She looks absolutely perfect. Her clothes are nicely ironed. I've just walked the dogs and cleaned out the litter tray from the cat's cage, and just sat down and thought, right, I'm going to talk about this. So look, I don't think I'm ever going to change. This is who I am. You get me rough and ready, but I hope that the content makes a difference and helps. So I had an email yesterday from someone saying, look, Craig, I get it. I get what you're saying. I totally buy it. There's not 1% of me that disagrees with your theory, with your philosophy on alcohol and addiction. But the problem is, Craig, I drink because I'm lonely. I'm painfully, cripplingly lonely, and I can't stand it anymore. And I drink alcohol to just escape the loneliness. So I wanted to talk about that because it's something I can empathize with. Loneliness, isolation, solitude, independence, all words that fit very tightly into my life. And some of those words are positive and some are negative. Not always the ones you expect to be good are the good ones. But in my experience, loneliness is not an external problem. Loneliness is not a lack of people in your life. It's not a lack of human contact. It's an internal problem, like everything else, really. It's an internal issue. And so for that reason alone, you should see that alcohol is not a solution to loneliness because it is an external element. You are using something artificial, something external of yourself to try and fix an internal problem. It cannot work for that reason. Now, what you'll find if you do a bit of Googling and you say, how do I deal with loneliness? You'll get a lot of trite statements and advice that don't help at all. Do it now. Go and Google how to deal with loneliness, and you will get lots of articles suggesting things like get a dog. Well, I've got 3 dogs and 6 cats. Go volunteering. Find a charity to volunteer at. Now, look, it feels like to me those sort of articles are written by people who don't really understand what loneliness is. And are just writing an article, maybe because they're paid for it, or they just want to get some search engine traffic or something like that. But that sort of advice to someone who feels lonely is useless. And the reason is because it's an external solution to an inner problem. Loneliness is not a lack of people in your life. It is a lack of connection in your life. It's a disconnect from humanity. And you might find that the older you get, the more lonely you feel. And the reason for that is that as we go through life, traumatic things happen to us. Bad things happen to us, and our subconscious mind tries to create bodyguards. Imagine like a doorman on a nightclub. Your subconscious mind tries to create these bodyguards that stand guard to protect what it presumes caused the pain in the first place. So if you were in a relationship with someone and they cheated on you, then your subconscious mind will create a bodyguard to identify people who it believes are likely to cheat and hurt you. But it kind of misfires. And what the bodyguard that's being created is always looking outward. It's always looking out at the external world, looking for that problem. But it never turns around to look at you to see if you're okay. It's a bodyguard that often is guarding someone that already died. They're lying on the floor, sprawled out because they're not okay. The bodyguard has not done his job, but the bodyguard never turns around. And what you find is then you start distrusting all men, or you start distrusting all women because your bodyguard is telling you subconsciously, all these people are going to hurt you. Stay away from them. And that's just one example. So, you may have, history from your childhood where you were abandoned by a parent, or someone you loved lied to you, or the negative connotations go on, and I'm sure you can think of something right now that's happened to you in the past that was very traumatic, very negative, and the result of someone else's actions. That's life. We can't change that. But the body then creates these bodyguards to constantly be on the lookout for that sort of trait, for that sort of behavior in people. And what you find is, as you become older, as you mature in life, you have more and more bodyguards all looking out. And eventually you get to the point where you can almost start hating other human beings. And you get then into this loop where you feel lonely, but you don't want to be with people. Does that sound familiar? If that sounds familiar, give me a yes in the comments. So you're lonely, but you don't want to go and volunteer. You don't want to go and do a night class. You don't want to go and you don't want to be with people, but you're desperately lonely. And that is where the evil clown comes in. That's where alcohol comes in and says, hey, you don't need to feel like this. Just drink a bit of alcohol, a mild anesthetic, and you're no longer aware of the pain. But as we know with alcohol, all of the benefits are extortionately priced. The price you're going to pay for that mild relief from your loneliness is going to be hideously high. So I wanted to make this video to make you aware that the chances are good that what you're telling yourself is the cause of your loneliness is not true. Most people have created a narrative to explain their loneliness. I live in a small village. I'm just socially shy. I'm a bit socially awkward. I find it difficult to talk to people. People find me boring. I'm not confident. Most people have created some plausible deniability in their head to defend their loneliness, to explain why it's happening. I would say in probably 99% of the case, it's an incorrect analogy. It's an incorrect analysis of what is actually going on. Loneliness is an internal state of having too many bodyguards looking for negative traits in everyone you meet, and to the point where you feel like you're disconnected from the rest of the world. So how do you deal with that? Well, that is a different story, and it's a longer video, and we'll talk about this at a later date. But you don't deal with it with alcohol. Alcohol will keep you trapped in that state, and it will leave you trapped in that state until the day you die if you let it. That's the misery of alcohol. The media would have you believe that the journey of alcoholism is you become a problem drinker, you become an alcoholic, and then you drink yourself to death. End of story. That's not really how it goes for most people. Most people don't end up in the gutter, sitting on a park bench, drinking whiskey out of a brown paper bag. Most people that I deal with have a home, have a family, have a job, have a car, all of the usual stuff. It's just that they're in this miserable loop of alcohol. So what alcohol is very good at doing is trapping you in a mediocre state for the rest of your life. So if you're feeling lonely and you're drinking, I want you firstly to understand that that situation is what alcohol wants to keep you in for the rest of your life. That is perfect for the evil clown. It's a perfect circle. You feel lonely, you drink. You feel lonely, you drink. And drinking absolutely paralyzes your ability to fix this problem. Because every time you feel that pain, instead of doing something productive, instead of digging deeper to find out what's really going on, you just take an anesthetic and make it go away. And the loop goes on forever. So we'll make another video. I say we, that'll be me. It's not like I've got a team of people here producing videos. I hate it when YouTubers say that. I'll make another video soon to talk in a bit more depth about it. But I just wanted to give you something to think about. If you're feeling lonely, there is something in your head that's distorted. There is a defense mechanism that's gone haywire. There's something in your head that's trying to protect you. Its intentions are good, but what it's achieving is negative. Think about that, and we'll talk again in the next video. Thanks for watching. See you soon.